Hello and welcome to an episode of What's Up, presented by the Robinson Observatory at the University of Central Florida. We're going to be hosting these What's Up videos about once a month in place of our usual outreach events that are held monthly at the observatory to kind of talk about what is in the sky at the moment and some interesting things that are happening with NASA and in the news with space. So first of all, I'd like to welcome Percy to Mars. Percy is the nickname of the Mars rover Perseverance that will be landing on February 18th, 2021 in Jezero Crater. This mission launched back in July 2020, and it's been traveling for 7 months now or so, and will finally be making its descent to the surface to collect some surface samples to be returned then to Earth for analysis. So the entry stage is pretty complicated because there is an atmosphere around Mars, although it is fairly thin. So we do have to account for extra heating when entering the atmosphere, but the whole entrance and landing of the rover should take about 10 minutes if everything goes well. So we have the lander coming in a capsule, and as it heats up, it will be guided from sort of a horizontal position to sort of kind of like a flying saucer position. With about a couple minutes till landing, the parachute will be deployed, and at this point, the capsule will be slowed from about 900 miles an hour to about 300 miles an hour until the shield for a heat shield will be deployed and separated off, and we can start with a radar lock on determining where the surface is and what type of terrain we'll have to deal with upon landing. And eventually, when we're down to about 200 miles an hour, we will see a little drone sort of capsule thing just come out of the capsule and have a powered descent down onto the surface, where a little couple feet above the surface, the sky crane, as it's called, that has the rockets powering to hold up the rover, will drop the rover down to the surface and then fly away. So how can you watch this landing? Like I said, it's going to be February 18th. It will be occurring around 2:15 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 11:30 a.m. Pacific Time. And NASA will be broadcasting this live on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, pretty much every streaming social media network that's out there right now, and including the NASA website and the NASA app. So if you're interested in watching, please tune in at 2:15 p.m. Eastern Time. And along with that, Mars is visible this month, although we won't be able to see the actual rover on the surface, unfortunately, unless you have a really powerful telescope. But from your backyard, you will be able to observe Mars, and that, unfortunately, is going to be our only planet that we can see in February, unless you feel like getting up about 30 minutes before sunrise towards the end of the month, in which case you can barely see Jupiter and Saturn right on the horizon. But for the most part, the planets are going to be kind of in the region of the sun, so we're not going to see them very well this month. But we will be able to see Orion and Sirius. And so Orion is a pretty dominant constellation in the winter sky, and it's pretty noticeable, especially with a lot of city lights around because we can see the main stars here, down at these corners. We're also going to see the belt pretty well defined along with its sword, as some people call it. This is where we can find the nebula, Orion's nebula. And to find Sirius, which is one of the brightest stars in the night sky, if you trace down the belt, it will point directly to Sirius down here. And on top of that, since the night sky in winter is pretty good at leading from one item to the other, we'll be able to see Gemini very well. And the trick to finding Gemini is if you connect Orion's foot with his shoulder and trace upwards. So here in the broader diagram, you can trace upwards. You should be able to find Gemini. And these stars are Pollux and Castor here, the two twins. Other ways of finding Gemini would be to trace from Cassiopeia and Perseus, which are in the north and fairly prominent there throughout the year. But I found that Sirius or Orion is a really good way to point towards those bright stars and find the two twins, also known as Gemini there. As for February moon phases, February 4th we'll have a last quarter. February 11th is the new moon, which also is going to be the Lunar New Year for the Chinese calendar. If you're interested in learning more about that, please see our other video on the Lunar New Year. February 19th is going to be the first quarter, and if you want a really good full moon view, February 27th is your night to go out. And thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe for more monthly space-related content from the UCF Robinson Observatory. We will try to put out at least 2 videos monthly. I know we've been kind of struggling with that in the past, but we would like to reach out more and hear from you guys as well. So thank you, and I'll see you next month.